Public outrage has increased after the Minister of Transport, Dipuo Peters, announced last week that the ETolls system will go live on the 3rd of December this year. That is next week, Tuesday. Political parties, unions and civil rights groups have expressed their concerns about the electronic toll system. Gauteng motorists will fork out an average of 5,800 Rand per year on the new toll routes, but not all are opposed to them. Dr. Roelof Botha, economic advisor at Price Waterhouse Cooper, believes the ETolls system will raise South Africa's international competitiveness and that it is in fact a progressive system. Dr. Botha joins us this morning from our Pretoria studio. Good morning, Dr. Botha, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Evan. Thank you.
We've searched long and hard to get a positive voice on e-tolling in South Africa. You are the man on the spot this morning, Doctor. Just tell us your thinking and in which ways South Africa will benefit from this system.
Well, maybe you guys didn't search long and hard enough, because I did my own survey amongst 45 economists last year, and 85% of them agreed with more or less everything that's happening in the Gauteng Freeway Improvement Project tolling system. But in any event, I think what this is a classic example of people not being able to see the wood for the trees, because we should concentrate on the roads and think about what it was before these roads were improved. We got almost 600 kilometers of additional freeway lanes. 34 interchanges were upgraded. 47 new bridges were built. Lighting was provided for 186 kilometers. And the fundamental flaw of the argument against e-tolling, and this is terribly important because this just obviates the need for a debate, is that if SANRAL were not able to prove that it had a funding mechanism, user charge principle on these roads, it would not have been able to secure the credit rating and the loan required to build it. We must remember that at the height of the construction phase, we went into the worst recession in 40 years. This government did not have money for upgrading modern urban highways. Their priorities lie elsewhere: schools, clinics, etc. So without the funding mechanism, which is tolls, and we've had tolls for 30 years. We drive N1, N2, we pay tolls. The difference is here we don't have to stop, quite frankly. So if it hadn't been for the tolling of these highways, they would not have been upgraded. And then we would have battled to get anywhere.
Everyone is feeling the pinch, though, in South Africa, Doctor, and not just the government after the recession. The middle classes, the 5 million of them that are economically active in South Africa, they say that the squeeze is on, not just with the tolls, but in all spheres of the lives of the middle classes in South Africa. We've got 15 million people receiving grants from the state. The middle class say, well, we feel the squeeze is on us to keep South Africa afloat. Do you think they have an argument?
Well, it's never pleasant, to get a bill that you weren't expecting. The point is just that if you want electricity, by and large, you have to pay for it. If you want bread, by and large, you have to pay for it. If we want these modern roads, we have to pay for them. I would like to know what the feeling is of consumers in the other 8 provinces. Because if we use the fuel levy to fund the Gauteng freeways, then they will be cross-subsidizing our modern highways. So there are all kinds of issues coming into play here. SANRAL has calculated that the overwhelming majority, almost 90% of road users, passenger vehicles, will pay less than 100 Rand a month. To use a road that, in terms of my impact assessment, which I conducted with colleagues at Gibbs, has shown that for every 1 Rand of toll that you pay, you get the equivalent of 10 Rand benefit, because that's based on the value of the time that you save.
Yeah.
And I don't have to tell you that time is the most precious commodity in the world. Whether you work, spend time with your family, on the soccer field, or watching soccer, like last night, Champions League, lots of goals.
Yeah.
Time is precious, and these roads are helping us to save time.
To save time and make money, we understand that, and we understand the impact that it will have on the economy, because ultimately it's transport that drives an economy. I want to ask you, though, about the profitability of e-tolling and the fact that so much of the profits will be going to Austria. What is your opinion on this?
Unfortunately, this particular issue hasn't been exposed to cost-benefit analysis. But it's a pretty flimsy argument. When you buy a car in South Africa, you are effectively transferring anything between 50% and 90% of what you are paying for the car to some country overseas. It may be in Japan, it may be in Germany, it may be in France, if you're driving a Renault. International trade is a two-way street. We cannot expect the most modern traffic information system in the Southern Hemisphere, which will make it safer for us to travel.
Yeah.
It will give us advance notice of incidents. It will help us to prevent crime. We can't expect that to occur overnight just by waving a magic wand. There's a top-class firm that's prepared to supply us with these services, and they have to be paid for the value that they are adding to the economy. These guys are going to employ 2,000 South Africans. These South Africans will be earning money in South Africa, spending it in South Africa, and broadening the tax base. So really, this is a pretty rubbish argument.
A very sober analysis, and it makes complete sense to me, everything you've told me today. But in conclusion, sir, what is your message to those millions of people out there in Gauteng who are watching this and they still feel outraged? What do you say to them today?
Well, it seems as if, all the resentment at government corruption in some quarters, the fact that there is wasteful expenditure, a resentment at the strike action by Kusato, etc., which has caused us to have a very paltry GDP growth figure in the third quarter. It's as if all of this resentment is just now being channeled towards the EToll mechanism.
Yeah.
And we must concentrate on the fact that we have these roads. These roads are absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And if government has to take over this bill, and the bond yield were to increase by 100 basis points, which could happen with a downgrade of our credit, then that would add 12 billion rand to the tax bill of South Africans, which is 60% of what the roads cost.
Yeah.
So I would really ask people to go and look at the facts and the figures, get the emotions out of the way, and just appreciate the fact that we've got these first-class roads. And if we want better roads in future, in Cape Town, in Durban, wherever, in Pretoria, we're going to have to pay for it. And this is the most efficient way to pay for it.
That is a very sober analysis this morning, Dr. Roelof Botha. Thank you very much. I think I'm going to ask the Minister of Transport to take you on a roadshow, sir.